Very good day and welcome to the Friday sessions on Cobra TV with myself, Rashid Saleh, and my usual partner, Dylan, right here on the Cobra Rugby Club Facebook page. Thank you very much for all of you who are in right at the moment. And we've got some really interesting guests for today's session because we've got them. This time is all about the lady power, not even women power,
right.
Ladies power. Because at Cobra we call them ladies, not women, because they're ladies. So that one is very much a thing within Cobra. Now, of course, we've got a varying number of experience that's going to be on the show. I'm going to go invite them one by one, and then we'll let Dylan do all the well, how would I say this, sir? Not even a Q&A, because I think the women will be asking you more questions than you asking them.
We were with them backstage, and there was already quite a few questions being thrown. But before we bring them on, I think it's one of the things I want to highlight is that when we say ladies and gentlemen, okay, we always regard as the ladies. That's where it comes in, and the ladies that are coming on. What we call key, they are pretty much key players on what's made the club great all these years. And I'm very anxious. I'm very excited. Well, excited.
Anxious.
Anxious.
Freudian slip.
I'm feeling a bit under pressure,
No, nervous, huh? Okay, let's get them on one by one. Firstly, these two ladies, they are part of the Cobrats team. They actually pretty much take care of the girls' side of Cobrats, and they've been quite successful in bring. In fact, so much so that I think sometimes we always say that the girls teams do better than the boys team in some of the tournaments. I see most of the tournaments they've been in. Firstly and foremost, she's I wouldn't say the youngest, but she's the least strange, but the most garang. Let's bring her on because least experienced, but the most garang. We had we had her husband on earlier the last time, so let's bring on Rachel. Rachel, how are you?
Hello. Good.
Hi, Rachel.
Everyone.
Just want to say that your audio and your looking good, wearing all that color is so much better than Aizan. Okay,
and
FYI,
we're more well prepared.
So you can see what's my experience in him.
Yeah, and he's also saying hello, folks. So he must be somewhere nearby. Right. Next up, she is the the wife of the former national coach. Not to say the least, she herself is as good as anyone on the field. And very much a very good sportsman and a really great ladies coach. Let's bring her on, Margaret Helen De Silva. Hi, Margaret. How are you?
Hi everybody.
Margaret.
Hi, Dylan. Hi, Rashid. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you. Next is, of course, I would say she has overseen a lot of successful teams over the years. I would say she was probably the most successful team manager we've ever had at Cobra, coming all the way from the Netherlands. We haven't seen in a couple of years. So let's welcome Ellen Van Brassel. Hi, Ellen. How are you?
Hi, Rashid. Hi, Dylan. I'm fine. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. And a very good morning to you.
Thank you.
All the way there in the Netherlands. I'm sure Tony's probably watching and saying hello as well. Or if he's awake. Anyway, and last but not least, she's probably one of our older members. They are between the two of them, her and her husband Jack Lee, one of the founders of the Cobra Rugby Club, and to me, she's probably the face that you will see at every single Cobra 10 that I've certainly been on. And let's welcome her on, Margaret Lee. Hi, Margaret. How are you? Welcome.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Hi.
Hi.
Anyway, before I carry on, Rachel, Aizan said, haha, memang garang.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess so.
It's okay. It's all right. It's fine. Fendi Manap says hi, Fendi. And Mai says Boik. And there's Dia Umrah Muzaffar saying hi, Coach Dylan. And Emperor Su Chong Tan says hi, Ellen, and the two Margarets and Rachel.
Hi, Suchong.
Hello.
In fact, you're getting more comments before we start than we usually get. Nice to see you, Ellen. That's Tina Mont. And Duncan, even Duncan Wong saying hello
Hi, Duncan.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
that's nice.
Yeah, he comes in once in a while to watch us as well.
Yeah,
All right.
great.
Dylan, no pressure, but take it away. Bye-bye.
In a bit to endear myself, there's on the comments, Dia Umair Muzaffar is actually one of the kids I coach on the under 10s in the under 10s age group. So Dia, I miss you, I miss all the team. So hopefully we can all come back and get back on the field. Masuk padang main sekali.
Yeah, true.
All right. Wow, I'm surrounded by ladies. Okay. All right. We're gonna start off. We'll start off with Margaret. How are you, Margaret? I understand you had a bit of a fall today. I hope you're all right. So, at any time you feel that you need to step up,
Make sure you say
Yeah.
make sure you say Margaret Lee, because there's two Margarets in here. Okay, bye-bye.
sorry.
Yeah, I was trying
Anyway.
to answer just now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fortunately, nothing. Okay, I got over it. I was just a little bit woozy earlier on. All right, everything's fine now. Thank you.
Good.
Take us a bit from the start. Margaret Lee, when as Rat pointed out that you were one of the founding members. Yeah, what was it like when it all started out?
Well, I am not a founding member. Only Jack, my husband, is. But I've been pretty much involved from day one, even when the kids were very small. And at that time, when we had the old building, we used to have family events and, fashion show and all those stuff. It was really interesting. It was just a small building then, which they started with this buying a brick to raise money to put up that simple building. I think that would have been 80s, mid-80s. Yeah.
And what was the rugby like back then? Were there any women playing rugby back then, during those times at that time?
Not that I can recall. Not that early.
Not that early, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and then because at that time when we had the original building, very basic clubhouse building, and it was run by our own members, volunteers like our Safaruddin and wife Rose, and then our late Ibrahim Busu and wife Maria. Everything was like volunteered. It was a really family club then.
yes, and taking care of all those
Yes.
muscular young men back in the day.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Unfortunately, the naughtiness still exists to now. All these boys are still naughty to now, except they're getting younger, right down to the age of 6 now. If you come every Sunday.
Yeah, this is a very different generation altogether, actually.
On that note, so I'm gonna, at that particular time, this was when you were general manager, Ellen. So
Yeah.
okay, just look at this. There's Margaret, Helen, and then there's Margaret and Ellen. So, okay. Anyway, so Ellen, when you were managing the team in 10 years ago, I'd say, right? That's when you pretty much.
10, yeah, and a bit before that, 2008, 2009, yeah.
And was that the same year Cobra won the Cobra 10s?
No, that was 2007. No, 2008. Yeah, correct. Yeah,
right.
That's correct.
So what was like managing the team back then?
Yeah, it was great. We had good fun with the guys, and in that year we won the Kedah 7, so that was quite a big tournament to win for us. And for me, it was that's the one. For me, it was because I was new to rugby when I came to Cobra, and so I didn't know much about the game itself. But with the help of everyone, we managed to do it, and we just had a great bunch of guys and coaches and everything. So very good time. Yeah.
And so as we go along, right, I'm sure I'm going to come to Margaret Helen here. You've managed teams, you've played. So from the times since then, how has the game for ladies has come by?
Well, as you can see, with the support now, definitely the girls team, the ladies team will definitely progress. since day one when I played rugby, it was way back in 1985, 86, when that is the time it was set up. If it was if there was a continuity since 1985 until now, I am not surprised you will be having also a 15 ladies, 15 aside ladies team. But eventually, nevertheless, now the team has proven a lot of success and result. They are on the right move. You can see that they are really on the right move, and with the support and with the interest from now the ladies, you can see a lot of support, a lot of good result. So way on, the ladies is getting stronger, and they will be. I'm not surprised they can outbeat the guys too. Right?
Well, I've seen the girls, the girls that you and Rachel coach on the team. They can move, and their ball handling's a whole lot better than some of the boys I've seen. But it does put out a message that in terms of women's rugby has come a long way. But this, I'm gonna put this to all four of you. What I mean, at the club, how was the experience being a woman or being a lady at the Cobra Club? We'll start off with Rachel, so because just to bring Rachel into the conversation.
It's different, yes, because I never played rugby, so I was there in the first place because my daughter started playing rugby at 6. She's 13 now, so I guess parents, right, in general, it's not just ladies, parents in general play a big role, especially when it comes to kids. So I've been supporting the kids and then eventually come on as a manager and now coaching the girls. So I guess you progress as time as well.
What about you, Alan? I mean, because when I don't think there's much women's rugby there, and especially being a So what are your thoughts on being a woman at the club?
What I'm putting, yeah, yeah. It was. Well, I've always felt like I came into a family, and I like the whole atmosphere about rugby, which was totally strange to me. I think when I first came, being a woman, being a foreigner as well, and being in the club, I know that not the club itself. It was okay because there were more women, so that helped. But I noticed that throughout rugby itself in Malaysia, it was. I've heard some comments, and I know that it was not very common to have a women lady manager for the team. So a lot of people had to get used to that. And then, and then being a foreigner as well, I mean, that was also different. But I think everybody got used to it. So it was okay. It was definitely okay. I've never had any problems with it. I've never felt that I was being treated differently because being a woman or whatever, anything else. So I always felt very good. But I think that's what rugby brings itself as well.
Yeah, well, and the only time that we had women on the as our managers was actually the internal sevens, because when we had internal sevens, all the managers were ladies.
Yeah, correct.
And that was something unique. With Cobra as well. So anyway, bye bye.
Bye.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's campering through. Margaret Lee, how much has it changed since then, or has there been any change you feel, or does it feel different?
Well, for me, my participation was never on the field with the players. I was more involved in the club, activities. I think like social activities or membership, helping Charlie then. So I think games-wise, you can see from the various tournaments that we had every year, where our level has always been. I think against the foreign teams, we still got quite a fair bit to catch up with.
One of the things which I always appreciate at the Cobra Club is when it comes to you ladies is that there's always when when there's a lady around, I feel things are more organized. Whereas if you leave it to a guy,
That's for sure.
Yep, true. That's true.
things seem to
Yeah.
get more organized.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah,
But,
well,
here
the
we
amount of times I got reminded by Margaret Lee about the medals at Cobra Tens. I can't just like every Cobra Tens I will have to remember, because she would always remind me, because those are the things at the end that we don't get the trophies or the medals. Okay, I'm in
Yeah.
trouble.
Yeah, correct.
Okay,
That's
bye-bye.
right.
which
Okay.
which is interesting, because when I was going, obviously I was going through your Facebook and looking at information and a bit, and I noticed it's how many years were you with when it comes to Cobra Tens that you were involved in,
Oh
Margaret Lee?
gosh, I lost count now. Seriously, lost count.
52
I think
years.
since the 80s, because at that time, Benson and Hedges was our main sponsor. We used to have their play card,
Oh, wow.
the big billboard, and that was a year when I was helping, because I think Yasmin was the secretary then, and I was assisting, and that was Safaruddin's time. So we had a tournament in Astaka grounds, Jalan Utara, and well, it was a very good experience, I would say. How we have gone from then. Then we've gone to all the various stadiums. We went to the Bandar Tun Razak Stadium. But somehow or other, I think the Kelana Jaya Stadium is still most conducive for us.
It's yeah, I've heard. I mean, this is how much I don't know that we've had to change venues quite a few times. But I know the last
Yes,
venue.
yes.
Uh, why was the change in venue?
Let me see, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, we did one back at Cobra, because at that time the Kelana Jaya Stadium was, I think, under renovation or whatever. It wasn't available. And that was say we had a heavy downpour. Oh gosh, what a washout.
That was in 2016. I think we had that. We
Yeah,
had
yeah,
Cobra
5
Dance
years
there.
ago. That's right. That's
Yes,
right.
yes, I remember that. It was
And then in the
convenient for that.
earlier years, in the mid 80s, when we had it at Astaka grounds as well, all the wives of the members came in, and we were selling food. Like Safa's wife Rose and Mary, we're making hamburgers, selling burgers and all that, all the different stuff. That was a really family event, I would say. And the greatest thing is, I got so involved with rugby, but I've never seen my husband playing rugby. Okay.
Really?
Ask
Well,
Rachel. You can ask Rachel the same question.
Yeah. Well, she played hard.
Hey, I remember we used to have a lot of line dancing at the club. We used to
yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And then
had a lot of functions,
because of our involvement with the Cobra Tens and all that, that was where my interest in rugby came out. And also one of the reasons why we go to Hong Kong for the sevens.
Yes.
Because when we compare the kind of what do you call that, carnival thing that they have there, gosh, we always wonder, will Malaysia ever do it to such an extent or not?
That will be one of the goals that we'll have to strive for.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there was actually one Cobra Tennis that we got into the back page of the Malay Mail, because the foreign team did a moon. Anyway, that was as close as we got to, and we almost got in trouble. But anyway, yeah,
That was in
I recall
1998,
that.
if I'm not mistaken.
I probably a Commonwealth year.
Yeah. And Jonah Lomu was there too.
Yeah.
Speaking of husbands that plays rugby, there's one coach here whose the husband is also a local legend in rugby. So how much, when it comes to coaching, how much do you refer to him? Or just for the all viewing here, Margaret Helen's husband is the legendary Lee Nyuk Fa. In case I just want to spell that out. But so, how much do you refer to him, or does he actually refer to you?
Well, to tell you truthfully, when I started rugby, I do not know what rugby is. I was actually introduced into rugby. From there, I was introduced to all the guys. So happened he was one of my husband was a rugby player. I do not know anything about rugby, and eventually, when I started playing rugby, it was a passion for me. And now we have a lot of discussion whenever we see every day whenever we are at home. The first channel he will on is Satanta, and then he will keep on watching the game, and then we will discuss, we will talk about it. But he is so well versed about everything. I was just like, oh, okay, right, good, fine. Who is he? Who is him? Which team is he from? But he knows everything tip top. He is so involved. So eventually, things like this get into me. I will know how to read the game, play the game. And eventually, this is like tip of the iceberg. And I play rugby along the way, like from 1985 to 1987, 86. And eventually we started, and then it died off, and I got married. It just fade off, and I went and played rugby again. Still involved in rugby, and I still go and watch him playing. Lee Yok Fa is a legend. He played until he was like 30 or what, and I follow him even though I was not really active. And then play touch rugby, still in the rugby scene, and I have been in Hong Kong Sevens for the past 7, 8 years. We will go there without fail to watch the game. So it is always in us. Rugby is always in us. So that is how you can say that, sometimes definitely I will get some information from him on rugby and all that. I will question him. Then he'll give me feedback. But that is more of touch rugby and tackle rugby. So it is two different things. So whenever I have any...
I admire that how you also make it a lifestyle. That I remember one time when you went on holiday, and one of your holiday things is to go work out at a gym together. So
Oh, yes.
it's quite...
Even when he went to Wellington for his rugby, coaching course, something like that, I managed to follow him. Well, it was an eye opener for me too, to watch how the players train and coach and the interaction. So this is also this is very good, for me as a coach to apply when I train the girls, or if anybody for that matter. So definitely it's all in the blood, as I can say now.
Speaking of coaching, Rachel, I understand you have now transitioned, from a team manager to a team coach.
Yeah.
Of course, team coach was earlier in the year. So what's that been like to transition? Have you done your L1? Did you do your L1?
Yeah, online.
Not yet. Online. You've done that, right? You've submitted all your documents. Yes, I'm the head coach for. Okay. Anyway, what was the transition? What was the transition like, Rachel?
Actually, the transition for me was pretty simple because ever since we developed the girls' team with Margaret, I was always stepping in as well. So being the manager, but also doing the workout with the girls every now and again, or helping the coaches on the field. So for me, it was actually a passion to go in and coach. And finally, when I was given the opportunity, I was just getting at my peak, and then obviously MCL started. So I'm looking forward now to going back and being with the girls. Actually, we've already created a bond in that short period of time that I was able to coach them.
But just before I forget, is the focus still on touch, or you're going to transition to full contact?
I'm going to focus on touch. Margaret is doing contact, so she's doing.
We are going into the X rugby now. So as you can see, we have got a couple of very interested girls. They are really, my girls are quite a good batch of hardcore girls. They are really into tackle X rugby. So it is good to introduce to them this rugby, because that will be the foundation now for the Cobrats for the tackle rugby. So the rules and regulation is not as robust as the normal sevens, but ex-rugby, they will play along. They will be definitely, they will be very interested and very interesting, and definitely it will be very fun too.
So obviously, all you ladies are pretty much whether you play rugby or not, pretty much ingrained into all of it. But which is one question: the difficulties of being a team manager and convener uh, and to maintain that consistency of winning. What were the main challenges, Ellen?
To maintain the consistency, yeah, that's
It's one
the
thing to
players.
win, but to keep winning.
To keep winning, yeah, I think in the end that's why we didn't do it anymore. But yeah, it is a team spirit. It was a team spirit. The team we had at that time, the period in like 2008, 2009, when we won almost all the tournaments we entered. It was all the boys, they were just fighting for each other, and they were there for each other, and it was the team spirit that did it. We didn't have any stars that wanted to prove themselves or whatever. To gel that together, I think that takes a while. That takes some time before you get it, before you get that. But I think that was the main thing. And then with the support of the club to have everything arranged what we asked for, and we did it all together. And I think that's the main thing to do now.
That's interesting. What did you find? What anything specific that you thought would that you found that you personally had any personal experience, any key experience that you might have that you can share with us?
I think what we did at that time, and that was like what I said. It was a team. The boys were there for each other. You saw that after the training. You saw that after a tournament when you came back to the club, or even after a game in the league or whatever. We stayed at the club. We were together. We were having fun. We sing, all those kind of things, and. Like I said, with the support of the club, with the committee and everything, to make sure that, like at that time, Rory was doing the kitchen, to make sure that the food was there in time. All those kind of smaller things, but it all because of that we achieved the result that we had. So that's the main thing. Yeah.
Sounds like you took care of them, and I think all the ladies here can relate to taking care of a bunch of men.
I think that's what it is, and that's the thing. Maybe it comes naturally. I don't know, but I think that goes for all of us. We just want to have things arranged, make sure that it's all there. So the players can do their job on the field.
Basically. Do you still keep track of rugby nowadays?
No, not that much. I'm not involved in the club or anything. Of course, I watch it on TV. I watch the World Cup, everything like that. But I'm not involved in the club. And I must say, I do miss it. I definitely miss the whole atmosphere we have at Cobra. It's unique. And but I think I've been to one club in Holland once. Same. It's the rugby is rugby, so that's the same all over the world, I guess. But Cobra, of course, it has a special place. So that will always be different.
Quick question, Margaret Lee, obviously. I mean, how tough has it been over the years with organizing the Cobra 10s? What has become harder?
Well, I think you're talking about everybody contributing in their own ways. If you ask me, the toughest thing is to raise the money, and thanks to our Tan Sri. Otherwise, I don't think it would have been possible for us to host it every year. We're always in the red, and he was always there to give a helping hand, bail us out. Really.
Which for you, what years were probably the most memorable ones that I still have a video of you dancing somewhere at the Cobra 10s, but I'm not going to show it because
oh my God.
I have a lot of videos and photos, but I've been told by Snake Eyes that I'm not allowed to put that up. So
well, because like I said, my involvement was more on the social side, and every time after the tents, then there will be dancing. Or even those days, we used to have, events at the club. There's a karaoke lounge there. So there's always a lot of fun and action there.
She'll be the first one on the ground, on the ground.
Yeah, I remember because our Nazharuddin always called me. Nazha always call me party queen. Oh my gosh, I say this is a grandmother now, okay?
Still party lah.
No, we're still young at heart. Still young at heart. I will be asking about like merchandise and all that. But first, obviously, I am going to be the merchandise queen for today, or king, whatever you want to call me. Obviously, for those of you who are interested in getting a Cobra merchandise, we do have our shop in the Cobra Rugby Club Facebook page. You can go to there, and then we have an assortment of clothing as well as other stuff as well, including the Canterbury t-shirts. We've got caps, bags, shorts, all they're all priced there. And obviously, if you'd like to get any of these things, do have a look at our Facebook page and have a good look. Especially the bags are good. I've got one of those bags. We have our special edition Cobra coffee book table. Our ties are unique as well. We've got the Cobra Canterbury caps also there for sale. So don't forget to go there as well. Now, we've had an assortment of merchandise over the years and different types. Rachel, as you know, how much have you collected? I mean, and you've got your daughter as well. She's got jerseys and whatnot. Has that taken up a lot of your space in her room?
If I could take you inside, you will see now there is actually a closet. Not closet. It's a chest of drawers. Yes, and it's all in there. It's just full. So when we actually go back to training and start buying again or getting jerseys again, then I'm gonna have to extend that chest of drawers. It's a lot.
It's very interesting, isn't it? I mean, even Ellen. I mean, do you still keep all your rugby,
Sure.
Cobra ones? And what's your favorite one?
My favorite one. That's one from the Cobra 10s in 2008 because we won that tournament. So that's one. But yeah, I still have them. Still have them all. I will keep them. Yep. Definitely.
And I do recall you coming back 3 years ago, and then you'd come in, you'd have your Cobra because you know that whether you're a player or not, if you're coming into especially a tournament or any games, if you're not wearing your Cobra emblem, it's kangaroo court time.
Yeah, for sure.
Margaret, Helen, what kind of stuff have you instilled into the girls team when it comes to Cobra and Cobrats?
Well, I have Cobra from my playing side when I was playing as a ladies team. There's a couple of jerseys. I still have t-shirt where we have the ladies team. We were the emblem was like Queen Cobra. Those days when we played, it was not under Cobra. Name of Queen Cobra. So that was the t-shirt I played. And eventually there is another jersey that was sponsored by Public Bank. It was a colorful jersey. That I still have that jersey with me. And before that, I was playing under Selangor Rugby Union, and under Selangor Rugby Union, they have their jersey, but they took it back. So, so that's about it. So we were not rich, you see. So we have to loan the jersey. Everything we have to raise fund. We have to raise fund. When we were playing that time, everything was like we were the water girl, we were the team manager. We have to do everything. We have to have fundraising. We have to dress up and look good. We will be muddy on the field, and then the next thing we have the party. We will dress up. We will put our makeup, and then we will just try to raise as much money as we can for our next tournament. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Now, Margaret Lee, this is a question I've always wanted to ask. How many Cobra 10s T-shirts do you have?
Oh,
And
lost count.
what's the oldest
Honestly,
one?
I lost count. I've got one cupboard which is just all the Cobra stuff. My goodness. Every year, you'll be piling and piling. Lost count already.
Wow.
Especially the
Yeah.
Cobra 10s, because I think between
Yeah.
you and I think I would say Francis might have probably the most if he
Yeah.
was if he did, because he has been with the Cobra 10 since the beginning, and he was
Yeah.
the tournament director since the beginning.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it'll be a sad day, the day that he will be sitting there just watching, because then you'll know that a whole new era has begun, and it literally will be a whole new era.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Dylan,
Yeah. Oh.
back
No,
to you first.
Back to me. Okay. Just to highlight, just to bring out some comments here. There's Siti Fatima. Hi, Coach M. Hi, Rachel. Singam. So it's quite. So so we're getting some ladies tuning in.
Nice.
So that's fresh. Of course, I just want to bring back Sam Firth Jackson. Coach Sam. He wants your autograph, Rachel. He wants your autograph, Rachel.
Oh, it's gonna cost you.
Yeah. You heard that, Sam? It's gonna cost you. Okay. There's our Emperor Suchong. So he's online. He's always here online every time listening. So thank you, sir, for tuning in.
Great. Yeah.
Jib, always a pleasure. Now, this is a question about coaching, Margaret and Rachel. What are your key motivation technique when it comes to making sure the kids maintain their level of excellence? And what are the motivational speeches that you might give? I'll give it to the head coach first, Margaret Helen.
Well, we have a couple of good players that they are also very involved in their school, in athletic, and even in outdoor activities with their parents. So we have quite a number of good and fit players in our team. So they are very disciplined because they have the guidance too from their parents. That plays a very important role. And whenever I give them a pep talk, I always apply fitness, and I always mention that fitness is important. Whatever sports you are in, fitness is number one. If you are fit, you catch up any game, you will definitely catch up fast. So if you are not fit, well, you will be actually you will be maybe a passenger in the team. So these are some of the motivation talk that I tell them, and maybe we make it have fun. We make it to have fun so that and then that I always tell them, go back, play with your brother, play with your father. If you don't know anything, ask them. So and then sometimes I just feed them some YouTube videos for them to look at it.
I heard from somewhere in making sure the girls train, when one of the motivation techniques you were saying, you tell the girls is that, last year we scored so many tries, last year we were undefeated, so now we have to do the same. Is that true? Is that true?
Oh, definitely, because I always like to upkeep their standard. I always tell them, it's good to win, but when you lose, please do not be despair, because you must know why you lose. Because why do you lose? Last year you won because I told them this year you're not fit. You didn't turn up for training, and this and that. A couple of all these things, and they understand, and they go back and they work harder. So and every time when they won, and then when they lose, I will see them crying on the field. So I told them, say, girls, you have to buck up. You know why you lost, so do not be despair. Winning and losing is part of the game. You are all growing up, so it doesn't matter. You have tasted victory, you have tasted loss. So it's good for you to taste both of them.
So at that particular point, where we have Maya, Maya, one of the players, you're one of your players, but also Rachel's daughter. So Maya, so when Maya goes home, or you have to take her home, Rachel, how do you manage your player? How do you manage your daughter who's also a player?
What you mean after a game or just in general after training?
In general, after a game, but
I actually don't bring up anything except we just have the conversation that you enjoyed training today and what was the most difficult part of it. But I do not pinpoint the weakness and the strength. We leave that all on the field, because then then she knows that there's a difference between me being a parent and then being a coach on the field as well. So we just try to have a good boundary there. But yeah, so the conversation is always just how was training? Did you enjoy it? And that's it.
And well, yeah, Maya, and of course we've heard a lot about Maya through Izan. Yeah, and are you gonna let her play contact rugby?
Yes, definitely. Margaret has actually put a lot of interest in these girls. Initially, when I asked her, she said no because she was not so sure, and then it was yes, and it was no again. So we said, okay, listen, when it starts, then we can decide. Same like a few of the girls actually. So when it started, they all just stood, watching Sam and Margaret, I think, just conduct the technique, how they're going to start. And then eventually they got into it, and now they can't wait to get back into it. So like I said, we only started in January when we started training. So the kids are now a bit disappointed what is going on. So I think we're going to have a good time when we actually get back into that field. It's all now, the adrenaline is all, ready. So,
with the actually with the rugby camp, whereby we have a mixture of all the players and all the teams, and we mix and match with the boys and the girls. So it created enthusiasm in them to play tackle, where they will tackle and they can tackle somebody. So it builds up their interest. So the corporate rugby camp is also very, very good to boost up and to improve the player's skill, and also to mingle around and have fun. So that's how they got interested in tackling some of the girls. Yes, it's very good.
Quick question for Ellen.
Yeah.
Ellen. Oh yeah, Margaret, you want to say something? I know.
Sorry.
Margaret Lee wants to say
Yeah,
something.
sorry.
Yeah.
Can I just take leave? I've got somebody at my door.
Oh,
If
okay.
I'm able to, I'll join back in again.
It might be your husband.
Whoever. Okay.
Yeah, see you
Bye.
again.
Get some of his food.
Yeah. Probably Uncle Jack wondering why the door isn't open yet.
Yeah.
So Ellen, obviously, you running, managing the boys were a very tough ask. We all know that because we've managed them. In fact, I use some of your stuff over the budget, expenses reports. You actually got everyone, especially from my side, to follow the same thing. So the transition was quite easy because the committee was seeing the same stuff that we were reporting as well. But off the field, in terms of off rugby, you spend a lot of time obviously at the club. What did your colleagues think? Because you were also working in a moving company at the time, and you did spend a lot of time, and you brought some of them over. What were their first thoughts like? You in a rugby club, and you're from the Netherlands, which is a big footballing nation, and then you're bringing them to rugby club, and then it's a totally different atmosphere. How did they see you in that light?
Yeah, they first, when I mentioned to them that this is what I do as well, and I want to introduce you to it, they were like, well, you have a busy job and how can you do this? And like you said, you come from the Netherlands, which is not a rugby country at all. And how did you come up to Cobra? How did you get there? And they were interested. They wanted to see it. They were, when I introduced them to Cobra, they were like happily surprised, like, oh, this is really nice. It's a nice club, nice people, good atmosphere. And when there were a few of my colleagues who came a few times, and so they got to meet some of you guys as well, and they said, oh yeah, we understand why you're here, and it's good, it's just a great place to be, and so yeah, basically happily surprised. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, because we had quite a few people who you introduced have become regulars of the club, and over the years have been in and out.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing because they always see rugby as a very tough sport, and then they actually meet, especially people like
That's
Cobra.
the thing. Of course.
And then
Yeah.
it's a totally different thing.
No, but it's true.
Yeah, that's right. Rachel, as much as Aizan has done a lot for the club in terms of he is pretty much the man who upkeeps our field and everything else as well. But when are we going to see him on the rugby field?
Oh my gosh, that's a question you have to leave to him actually. He's been planning to play, so hopefully, yeah, he's gotten fit. If you've seen, so let's see what happens after this all lifts. I hope he'll get back on the field. I don't mind playing, so who knows?
Yeah, we'd love to be able to play with him or against whichever he decides to. I've got a comment here. Siti Fatima Abdul Ghani, my daughter Cami plays for the under-15s and Musandani for the under-10s boys.
Yeah.
So Margaret Helen, is this one of your players?
And Danny is one of mine.
Yeah.
So you guys, the girls go up to under-15s now, because the last one I remember, they of course obviously they've grown. Was the eldest in at the ladies' side was under-12. So where are we at in terms of the girls now, Margaret?
We got
In under-15 now, the girls have grown over the years. Definitely, we have to age up, and you see, we have a combination of under-12, under-15. So these are two batches of girls team. So we have to condone to the tournament age group. So that's why. So far, Cami, she's under-15, and we have a couple of girls. They have been following me for the past so many years. So as we go on, maybe the age group will go up, and I foresee that she is one of the. She's going to be playing the tackle rugby too, and even she is also a footballer. So she is a multi-gifted sports girl. So, and I find that her future in sports is very good.
Okay. Will we see as we're trying to do with obviously the Cobrats boys, will we see a transition of these girls going into Cobra Venom one of these?
hopefully.
Rachel?
Yeah, hopefully, because as we mentioned to Dylan earlier, the girls have a big interest in playing contact. For now, we have our under-15 girls have started playing, so that's where we plan to actually transition them to the Venom girls. Ice is waiting to take these girls on. He said, no, bring them on to training. Come, we train certain days. So I said, hang on, we're just at the tip of it, just beginning. So give us a few months, maybe that who knows, if they're interested, they can just go train with the girls when they're on our Cobra field. But going back to the two age groups, our under-12 is actually, we start from 8 to 12, and then 13 onwards play for the under-15s. So we're quite privileged to have a big number of girls in both teams. Some are seniors, some just joined us, but with enough training, that's when we take them for tournaments. So, but we never tell any parent that the girl is not good enough for a tournament. They're always welcome to join us, because at the end of the day, when you're actually at the tournament, you yourself as a player, as a kid, would actually know if you are ready to play. So they're always welcome to bring the child, and if the child is ready to go in, and if we think it's fit, then they play. Even if it's 2 minutes, the child gets to go in, they have that feeling. And even if they don't play, it is the feeling of being a team. That's what it's all about, actually.
That's great. It's a good thing.
So
Yeah, Ellen, you were in an era where we had a lot of boys. I think we probably had one ladies team for a while. Now you will see. Now you're seeing whole academy. What are your thoughts?
I was just thinking. I just wanted to make comments on that. When I first came to Cobra, there wasn't even the Cobrats were not there at that time. It had stopped for a few years. So after the Cobrats came, then we had the academy, and then the girls came, the Venom team, and now the girls teams as well. It's so great to see that development, that there's so many kids joining rugby and Cobra, and it's a big difference from when I first joined, and it's fantastic to see.
I think just to share, my wife is also at the club. She's also one of those key players, what you can say. She started rugby about 4 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Great.
So,
Yeah, nice.
never too late, I guess, for some.
No, that's true. Yeah. Well, I remember when Rashid, you mentioned that tournament we had, the internal tournament with all the women managers, female managers, and I remember the teams would get extra points if the manager would be on the field as well by playing. So that was my first and last time I was in the field, and I was just hiding behind Kinney because it was too scary, but it was great fun. It was great fun. Yeah, I remember that. That's good.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh God! Now having to remember all these things that's very scary as well. Right. Anyway, Margaret Helen, in terms of your, I don't know how to ask this. I mean, with Lee Nyuk Fa, I mean, has he fully retired? Is he gonna we're gonna see him on the field one of these days playing against the Cobra legends, or is he just has he totally
already hang up his boots because he has a very serious knee injury, so it is really torturing him. The reason why he actually resigned as a coach, from my point of view, head coach of Malaysia, because it is his knees. It is. I can see that he is always suffering when he walks too much, and he can't perform. If you are a rugby coach, you must be on the field. You must perform. You must show the players your technique, whatever it is. So that's the reason why he would, fitness level, you do not have to worry about him. He is as fit as I can. I will not want to shame any of the players. He can still go in and play a full 90 minutes game if his knees doesn't give him problem. So I can rest assured he can play, but not for now. Definitely no way.
Now this leads me to the other question. We've seen this with our former president, our former coach, and now our bar manager Boon. We would hope, like with the children, because the parents have played in the sport, the children would follow suit. Now, obviously with Boon, who had two very very tall children who are obviously very talented, and you have yours. Did you discourage them from rugby, or?
When Cobra started with Colonel Chani Wong, I was one of them who helped out. My kids played. Even Boon Hunchi children played.
I remember.
Kang's children played. Robert Xiao, a few of them, and then it just died off. I think within 1 or 2 years, my kids played. And eventually, I still have some photographs, and even we have like Cobra 10. Some of the girls, when we had the party, they were dancing and all that. So my son played rugby when he was in school. He was schooling in Sri Sentosa, and during the time the principal was Pak Wan. He was also the Malaysia coach.
Yes.
Yes. So he played in rugby few years, but he was also a hammer thrower, a discus thrower, and he was very disciplined. He had to hang up his rugby boots because every time when he go and play, he will be the one running and pushing and running for the ball, and everybody like to tackle him. So he was given warning by his school athletic coach, saying that you have to choose one. Either you choose rugby or you choose your athletic. So he had to give up his rugby.
That's quite sad. And now he's a very good physio. Rachel.
He's a chiropractor.
Cairo physio.
Yeah.
Clack. Rachel, just like to know, because there must be an Aizan doing something, or
someone's distracting me. Sorry.
Yes, I can see the reflection from Tell him I can see
Oh,
the
you can see that the reflection.
yeah. So yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Sorry, it's not
Slightly,
iPhone.
slightly
Got a
more
monkey.
observant than yeah.
I got a monkey here in the house distracting me,
Oh.
so I'm trying to keep my composure. But yeah, thanks for pointing out.
Anyway, it's been a really great session with you guys. Obviously, I would like to have some parting words before we do go off. We'll start obviously with Margaret first. What are your thoughts about obviously what's your advice for any ladies or girls who wants to take up the sport?
Well, ladies, now this is the opportunity for you to go all out and get involved in rugby. Because now with the support that we have nationwide, with a vast development by the NRDP, by MRU, and with the good results that you can see that our team, our Malaysia team, and the girls are giving us. I think it will be a shout out for all the girls now in Malaysia. Go out and play rugby. It is a sports that will make you, it will give you discipline, and you'll be strong. That's my word.
Rachel, without laughing.
Yeah, we really encourage children from the ages of 8 to 15. Come join us in the field when this is all over, and you'll see when the progress from there. The girls. Look forward to getting to the field actually. Ooh.
Yeah, well, anyway, Su Chong said, keep eyes on off the field. It's an asset to the bar.
Is the bar open?
No, not yet. Not yet.
No, we're waiting for clearance.
All waiting for clearance. Dylan, Eugene, Ellen, you remember Eugene? Eugene Botak?
Sure.
So he
Family
said, family lah. Family. Need haircut. Don Dinkums. So Ellen, now obviously you're seeing and hearing all this. What would be your advice now for any young lady or a girl who would like to take up rugby? And you've experienced seeing this as well.
Yeah, well, definitely. If you're even thinking about picking up rugby, then just do so. Go to Cobra. It's first of all the club itself. It's you will get all the assistance you need, but in rugby itself, the game, you will learn so much from it and for your own development. And it's great to see that the development has started and it became so big already. And also in Malaysia itself, that rugby is picking up there. So for the children, I would definitely tell them just go and start it. And even though you say it's never too late, but it's also good to start young from your own development and in life. And just do it. Very good. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Dylan, any final parting words? Well done, ladies, Su Chong said.
Yeah, well,
the Emperor has spoken.
Su Chong, well done, ladies. I think it's good. I think as far as ladies rugby and all that, it's come a long way, and it's amazing. And I'm very thankful for the contributions, especially the contributions of all the ladies, and they don't get enough. To me, I don't think they get enough credit. But it's like right now with you ladies, I feel like a bit under pressure. So I have to be on my best game, best behavior. People don't realize the impact of what a strong woman can do to a rugby player.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so if there's trouble with your boys, send them over.
I have to be a better coach because I'm losing all my girls to your team.
Yeah, it's great. Well, it was great being here, and thanks so much for speak for myself for having me. It was great to catch up with all of you. I hope to see you live whenever it's possible again.
Hopefully next year, because obviously the Cobra 10's 50th Cobra 10's has been postponed to next year. So you got a whole year to plan. Hopefully we'll get all the flights and cheaper flights back online as well. But ladies, on behalf of Cobra TV, obviously thank you very much for joining us, to Margaret, Rachel, and Ellen for being with us, and it's been really, really good. And hopefully we hope to be able to see you guys in person, hopefully at the club. at the
That would be
bar,
great.
sipping some orange juice. Yeah.
And start.
For sure.
And some pink Gatorade.
Pink
Something like that.
Gatorade.
I
I
don't
don't know
I'm
what
sure.
you've been drinking.
Pink is the ladies' color, is the girls' color, right? Is the official.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
There are also
Yeah.
other nice pink drinks. We'll sort that out. No worries.
Yes, we'll sort him out after that. Definitely a kangaroo coke. On behalf of Cobra TV, thank you very much. For all
Thank
the
you.
views out there, don't forget to do subscribe and like to our page and also our YouTube. Yes, and the ladies and girls out there, if you'd like to join, obviously join the Cobrats and Cobra Rugby Club. We hope to see you again soon. Have a great weekend, everyone. And
Thank
this is
you. Bye-bye.
Dylan and myself signing off. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.